You don't grow in comfort. You grow when you stretch, when you strive, when you sweat a little harder and sacrifice a little more. If you're looking for an easy path, you're not looking for growth. You're looking for escape. But growth doesn't live there. Growth lives in challenge. It lives in uncertainty. It lives in the late nights when you want to quit but don't. It lives in the early mornings when your body says no, but your purpose says yes. Suffering isn't the enemy. It's the training ground. It's the sculptor's tool that carves your character. It shapes your resilience, your discipline, and your hunger. You see, the soil has to be broken before the seed can grow. Steel must be put through fire before it becomes a sword, and the human spirit, it requires adversity to rise to its potential. The people you admire most didn't get there without wounds. They bled for it. They endured ridicule, setbacks, loss, and heartbreak, but they got back up, not because it was easy, but because they decided they were not done. Suffering is the price of transformation. It's not permanent, but the lessons it teaches are. It introduces you to your limits, and then demands you exceed them. It takes your excuses and turns them into fuel. Everyone wants the result, but few are willing to pay the price. But let me remind you, the price of regret is always higher than the price of discipline. You can suffer the pain of growth or the pain of staying the same. One leads to power, the other to decay. Choose your suffering wisely, because when you embrace it, endure it, and learn from it, you become unshakable. You become someone the world can't break. You become the kind of person who doesn't just go through pain, you grow through it. Growth only happens outside your comfort zone. That's the truth many run from. We cling to routine, we hold tight to what's familiar, and we call it stability. But in reality, it's stagnation wrapped in the disguise of safety. Comfort is easy. Comfort is seductive. But comfort is also where dreams quietly die. You don't evolve by repeating the same day over and over. You grow when you challenge yourself to do something that scares you. You grow when you put yourself in situations where failure is possible and success is earned, not handed. The comfort zone is where you feel in control, but nothing great is ever built from a place of total control. Real growth demands risk. It asks for your courage. It requires you to step into the unknown, to face uncertainty, to be okay with discomfort. Because discomfort is the signal that you're stretching, and stretch leads to strength. Think about the muscles in your body. They grow only after being torn down through resistance, through pressure. Through tension, your mind, your discipline, your willpower. They work the same way. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not evolving. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. You see, fear and growth often live in the same place. When you move toward fear, you step into possibility. When you avoid fear, you step into limitation. People wait for confidence to take action, but confidence doesn't come first. Action does, and action is uncomfortable. But it's in those moments, when your hands shake, when your voice wavers, when you doubt yourself, that the real transformation is taking place. You're not supposed to have it all figured out. You're supposed to be willing to try anyway. You're supposed to take the step, even if your legs tremble. Because every time you step beyond the familiar, you expand your world. Every time you face a fear, you weaken its power. Every time you choose discipline over ease, you multiply your potential. The comfort zone is not a place you're meant to live. It's a place you're meant to pass through. It's the launching pad, not the destination. If you want new results, you must be willing to live in new challenges. And those challenges, they're not signs you're doing something wrong. They're proof you're doing something right. They mean you're growing. They mean you're becoming. And that's the point of all this. Not to stay the same, but to become someone greater than who you were yesterday. Suffering is a necessary process, not a punishment. It may feel cruel while you're in it. It may break you down, shake your spirit, and make you question everything. But suffering has a purpose. It isn't there to destroy you. It's there to develop you. Most people run from suffering. They avoid discomfort, hide from pain, and wish for ease. But ease doesn't build strength. Pain does. Pain is the fire that forges perseverance. It teaches you what no comfort ever can. Every scar tells a story, every tear carries a lesson, and every heartbreak shapes who you become. Suffering strips away the illusions. It exposes what you truly believe. It reveals what you're really made of. When life gets heavy, you discover the muscles you didn't know you had. When things fall apart, you realize what really matters. And when you're forced to let go of what you thought you needed, you make room for what you truly need. Suffering isn't a curse, it's a catalyst. It pushes you to reflect, to confront your weaknesses, to dig deeper, to rise stronger. The greatest breakthroughs often follow the greatest battles. Before transformation comes struggle. Before wisdom comes wounds. Don't resent the hard moments. Respect them. Because they are shaping you in ways success never could. Growth is born in resistance, in discomfort, in pressure. That's why the people who rise the highest are often the ones who have suffered the most. They've been through the storm, they've been tested, they've felt broken, and chose to keep going. They didn't get there in spite of suffering. They got there because of it, and the truth is, no one escapes it. No one gets a smooth road. No one is exempt from the weight of life. But some use that weight to get stronger. Some turn the pain into purpose. Some use the suffering as fuel. You can't grow without some discomfort. You can't mature without pain, and you can't build resilience without first facing resistance. So when suffering shows up, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Don't look at suffering as something being done to you. See it as something working through you. Let it do its work. Let it refine you. Let it wake you up to your deeper self. Because when you come out the other side, you won't be the same. You'll be stronger. Wiser, more grounded, more grateful. Suffering isn't a punishment. It's a process of transformation. And though it may hurt now, it's preparing you for something greater than you can see. Hardship develops strength, character, and resilience. You don't get stronger by avoiding difficulty. You get stronger by facing it head on, by stepping into the storm, not away from it, by enduring the weight, not escaping it. Strength doesn't come from ease. It comes from effort, from struggle, from standing back up after life knocks you down. Hardship is the classroom where grit is taught. It's where your patience is tested, where your endurance is refined, where your true self is revealed. You can pretend to be strong when everything's going well, but real strength shows up when everything falls apart, when the road gets dark, when no one's watching, when you're tired, hurting, and still choose to move forward. That's strength, and it's built in hardship. Character doesn't come from comfort. It's formed in the fires of adversity. It's shaped by how you respond when things don't go your way, when plans fail, when people walk away, when the odds are stacked against you. Character is about who you become when life demands more from you than you think you have. It's not about what happens to you. It's about how you choose to respond. Every time you act with integrity in tough times, every time you choose discipline over ease, every time you keep your word, when it costs you, you build character. And over time, those choices make you unshakable. Resilience is forged in pressure. It's not about never falling. It's about refusing to stay down. It's about learning how to adapt, how to heal without becoming bitter, how to rise with wisdom, not resentment. Hardship doesn't make you weaker unless you let it. It can make you tougher, smarter, more compassionate, more prepared for the battles ahead. Think about the strongest people you know. They didn't become that way by living easy lives. They became strong because life demanded it, and they rose to meet that demand. Every challenge is an invitation to grow. Every setback is a setup for strength. Every disappointment builds something in you that success never could. You might not like the process, but you'll love the person it helps you become. Because once you've been through real hardship and come out the other side, you walk differently. You speak with more depth. You live with more purpose, and you stop being shaken by small things. Hardship trains you to keep going when it's hard, to stand firm when others fold, to believe in yourself when no one else does. It's not a punishment. It's preparation. The weight you carry today could be building the strength you'll need tomorrow. The storm you're walking through might be carving out your path to greatness. The pain you feel now could be unlocking a power in you that's been dormant for years. So don't curse the hardship. Use it. Let it shape you. Let it develop your strength, your character, your resilience. Because you're not just going through it. You're growing through it. Adversity is the training ground of high achievers. You don't become great by avoiding difficulty. You become great by walking through it, by facing adversity not as an enemy, but as a teacher that pushes you to your limits, and then shows you that you can go beyond them. The people who rise the highest are the ones who were tested the hardest. They've tasted failure, they've walked through rejection, they've faced loss, pain, and doubt, and they kept going. That's what separates the average from the exceptional. Adversity forces you to dig deeper. It doesn't give you a choice. You either quit or you rise. You either fold or you fight. And every time you choose to rise, you build something inside yourself that no one can take away. Adversity doesn't care about your plans. It shows up uninvited. It interrupts your comfort. It wrecks your timelines. But in the process, it reveals what you're really made of. It teaches you patience when everything feels urgent. It teaches you courage when fear is screaming in your ear. It teaches you to keep your vision clear even when your path is clouded. High achievers don't wish for an easy road. They get stronger for the hard one. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They work through chaos, through uncertainty, through pressure. That's how they're built. Adversity teaches discipline. When it's raining, you still show up. When it's painful, you still show up. When it's lonely, you still show up. Because you understand that growth doesn't care how you feel. Progress doesn't ask for permission. And purpose doesn't wait for comfort. Some of the most successful people on this planet had every reason to quit. They had every excuse to back down, but they didn't. Because adversity sharpened their focus. It refined their hunger. It made them relentless. They weren't handed strength. They earned it. They weren't born with resilience. They forged it in the fire. The storm made them. The hardship built them. The pressure created the diamond. You see, success without adversity is surface deep. It's fragile. But success that's been fought for, suffered for, bled for, that success is unshakable. Because the person behind it has been tested, and once you've been tested, you stop flinching, you stop doubting, you stop breaking under pressure, you trust your foundation because you know what it took to build it. Adversity demands more of you than you thought you had, but it also shows you that you had it all along. It reveals your grit, it forces your potential out of hiding, it brings the best out of you by pressing you to the edge. So when adversity comes, and it will, don't see it as a setback. See it as training. See it as preparation. See it as the process that shapes high achievers, because you don't rise in spite of adversity. You rise because of it. True transformation requires discomfort and discipline, not wishes, not daydreams, not good intentions, but discomfort and discipline. If you want to change your life, you have to step into spaces that make you uncomfortable. You have to break patterns that feel familiar but are holding you back. You have to let go of who you were, even if you're still unsure of who you're becoming. Discomfort is the signal that you're growing. It's the friction that comes when old habits clash with new standards. It's the resistance you feel when you push against the limits you've lived inside for too long. Transformation is not about feeling good. It's about getting better. and getting better often feels worse before it feels right, because you're tearing away the parts of you that no longer serve your future, and that process is never easy. But discomfort alone is not enough. Anyone can suffer for a moment, anyone can endure for a day, but transformation requires more than just pain. It demands discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. It's getting up when the bed feels warm. It's showing up when motivation is gone. It's choosing effort over excuses, consistency over chaos. Discipline is what keeps the promise long after the emotion has left. It's what separates the committed from the curious, the doers from the dreamers, the transformed from the talkers. You can't change your life by being part-time committed. You can't transform by giving in to what's easy. You have to train your mind, your habits, your reactions, and that kind of training is uncomfortable. It takes time, it takes repetition, it takes sacrifice. Transformation is not a single moment, it's a daily decision. It's showing up again and again, even when you don't see the results yet, even when no one's clapping, even when the process feels endless. Most people quit not because they can't change, but because they expect change to feel good. It doesn't. It feels uncertain. It feels like self-doubt. It feels like failure and starting over and pushing through tired days. But those who stay with it, those who choose the discomfort and hold the line with discipline, they get to see the other side. They get to feel the reward. They get to walk in the confidence that only earned transformation brings, because they know what it cost. They know the battles fought in silence. They know the habits broken, the mindset rebuilt, the identity reshaped. True transformation changes more than your results. It changes your self-respect. It changes the way you carry yourself. It changes your standards. And once you taste that, you'll never want to go back. But to get there, you must embrace the uncomfortable. You must master the discipline, because nothing meaningful is built without both. Everyone admires success, but few embrace the struggle behind it. They see the spotlight, but not the darkness it took to earn it. They applaud the victory, but never study the war that was fought along the way. Success looks beautiful from the outside. It's clean, polished, inspiring. But what lies beneath it is often messy. It's pain, it's sacrifice, it's late nights, early mornings, and silent battles no one claps for. People love the finished product. They post about it. They quote it. They celebrate it. But very few want to experience what it really takes to build it. Because behind every success story is a person who chose not to quit. A person who faced rejection, failure, and fear, and showed up again anyway. There were days they doubted themselves, days they felt invisible, days they wanted to walk away, but they stayed, not because it was easy, but because they were committed. Everyone wants to win, but not everyone is willing to lose first. Not everyone is willing to fail publicly, to keep going when it's hard, to make sacrifices that no one sees or thanks them for. You want success, then you must befriend the struggle, because it's in the struggle where you're built, where you develop the hunger, the mindset, the resilience to last. You don't get that in the comfort zone. You get that in the grind, in the moments you keep going when every part of you wants to stop. Success is not just about talent or luck. It's about endurance. It's about showing up tired. It's about making hard choices, turning down distractions, walking alone at times. It's about choosing discipline when excuses feel easier, choosing growth when staying the same feels safer, choosing courage when fear says run. The truth is, the struggle is what makes the success meaningful. Without it, there's no story. Without it, there's no depth, no gratitude, no strength. It's not the trophy that changes you. It's the road you traveled to earn it. The road with obstacles, detours, heartbreak, and setbacks. That's where you found out who you really are. That's where you became the person worthy of the success. Everyone wants the destination, but few are willing to take the climb. Few are willing to bleed, sweat, and sacrifice for years without recognition. But that's what it takes. If you admire someone's success, study what they survived to get there. Look at the pain they turned into purpose. Look at the doors that slammed in their face, and how they built a window anyway. Success without struggle is shallow. It doesn't last, because the foundation was never tested. But when you've suffered for it, worked relentlessly for it, sacrificed for it, you don't just win, you become. And that's the kind of success that no one can take away. Pain is temporary, but the lessons it brings are lifelong. It may feel like it's going to last forever when you're in it. The weight feels heavy. The hours feel long, and the silence can feel unbearable. But pain has a purpose. It comes to teach. It comes to awaken. It comes to shape. The hurt doesn't stay forever, but what you learn in the hurt, that stays with you. It becomes part of your wisdom, part of your strength, part of your story. Pain has a way of showing you what really matters. It reveals what's broken, what's fake, what's weak, and it gives you the chance to rebuild on something real. You can ignore advice, you can run from feedback, but pain, you feel it, you can't hide from it. It forces you to pay attention. It slows you down so you can reflect. It wakes you up to what you've been avoiding. It sharpens your perspective. It teaches you the difference between what you want and what you need. Sometimes, pain is the only thing loud enough to get your attention. And once it has it, it teaches in ways comfort never could. You may not like the experience, but you'll never forget the wisdom. That's the beauty of pain. It fades, but the strength, the growth, the understanding, it stays. The heartbreak teaches you how to love better. The loss teaches you gratitude. The failure teaches you how to succeed. The struggle teaches you patience. The mistake teaches you humility. And over time, all these lessons become tools. They become part of who you are. They guide you, they protect you, they shape your decisions and sharpen your instincts. No one wants to hurt, but everyone wants to be wise, and wisdom often walks hand in hand with pain. The key is not to avoid pain, because you can't. It's to learn from it, to listen, to grow through it. You don't have to like what happened, but you can choose to grow because of it. You can take the pain and turn it into power. You can take the wound and let it become wisdom. The pain will pass, the season will end, the storm will quiet. But if you paid attention, if you were willing to grow through it, you'll walk away with something valuable, something you didn't have before. People who have walked through real pain speak differently. They move differently. They understand differently, because they've seen what life can take, and they've discovered what it can give back in return. So when pain visits your life, don't waste it. Don't rush through it. Don't numb it or bury it. Feel it, learn from it, let it grow you, because pain doesn't last, but the lessons it teaches will shape your future forever. You must choose between the pain of growth or the pain of regret. There's no way around it. One way or another, pain will be part of your journey. The question is, what kind of pain are you willing to live with? The pain of growth is heavy, yes. It demands effort, sacrifice, and discipline. It asks you to wake up early, stay focused, and say no to distractions. It requires you to stretch, to learn, to face your fears, and to keep going when it gets hard. But this pain, the pain of growth, is productive. It builds you, it sharpens your mind, strengthens your spirit, and develops your potential. It makes you someone who can handle more, do more, and become more. It's not comfortable, it's not easy, but it's meaningful. It leads somewhere, it moves you forward, and one day you'll look back and be grateful you chose it. On the other hand, there's the pain of regret. It's quiet at first. It doesn't demand much in the beginning. It lets you rest, skip the work, stay where it's easy. It whispers, do it later. You have time. And that's the trap, Because eventually later becomes never. Opportunities pass, potential fades, and one day you realize you traded your dreams for comfort. That's when regret sets in, the weight of what could have been, the ache of knowing you didn't try hard enough, the sting of watching others rise while you stood still. Regret is the pain that haunts you. Because it comes too late. You can't go back. You can't undo the time you wasted. You can't rebuild the chances you ignored. The pain of regret grows in silence. It eats at your peace. It steals your confidence. And it lives in the question, what if? So you have a choice, right now, today, to suffer the short-term pain of doing the work, or to carry the long-term weight of wondering what might have happened if you had. The pain of growth will push you, but it will never betray you. It gives back far more than it takes. It pays off in strength, clarity, and pride. The pain of regret, though, it only takes. It leaves you with nothing but memories of the chances you didn't take. And the person you could have become if you had just said yes to the hard things. Every day, in every decision, you choose, with your actions, with your priorities, with your willingness to show up or your choice to stay the same. Growth asks for pain now, peace later. Regret gives peace now, but pain later. The pain of growth is temporary. The pain of regret can last a lifetime. So when it hurts, keep going. When it's hard, lean in. When everything in you wants to quit, remember why you started. Because choosing the pain of growth today means you won't have to live with the pain of regret tomorrow. Struggle reveals your true potential and eliminates excuses. You don't really know who you are until you're tested, until life backs you into a corner and says, let's see what you're made of. That's when the real you shows up, not the version that's comfortable, confident, and well rested, but the version that's tired, unsure, and still refuses to give up. Struggle strips away the surface, it removes the mask, it silences the talk. Because in the struggle, words don't matter, actions do. Effort matters, persistence matters, heart matters. When everything is going well, it's easy to pretend. Easy to say the right things, make big plans, and talk about goals. But when things get hard, really hard, when the pressure sets in, and nothing's working, that's when you find out who you really are. Struggle pulls potential out of hiding. It activates something inside of you that comfort never will. It forces you to level up, to grow stronger, to become more focused, more hungry, more driven. It's in the middle of the storm that you discover new gears, new strength, new creativity, new resolve. The struggle introduces you to the parts of yourself you didn't know existed. It teaches you that you're more capable than you thought, more powerful than you imagined. It shows you that the limits you believed in were never real, just untested. And as the struggle pushes you, something else happens. Your excuses start to fall away because excuses don't survive under pressure. They don't stand up when you're really fighting. When you're digging deep and clawing your way forward, you stop explaining and start executing. Struggle doesn't leave room for blaming others. It doesn't care about your past, your doubts, or your fears. It demands focus. It demands decision. And in that demand, it frees you from the story that once held you back. The story that said you weren't ready. The story that said you weren't enough. The story that said, try later. Struggle doesn't wait for later. It says now. And when you step into it, truly step into it, you become different. More disciplined, more intentional, more clear about what you want and what you're willing to do to get it. Yes, struggle is uncomfortable. Yes, it can be brutal, but it's honest. It doesn't lie to you. It shows you exactly where you stand, exactly how far you've come, and exactly what it will take to reach the next level. That kind of clarity doesn't come from comfort. It comes from the grind, from the days that break you down so you can rebuild stronger. From the moments that stretch you past your limits and prove you still have more. The struggle is not your enemy, it's your mirror. It reflects your truth, and the more you face it, the more excuses fade. Because you realize you don't need perfect conditions, just relentless effort. You don't need more time, just more focus. You don't need permission, just commitment. Struggle is the gate. On the other side of it is your potential, your purpose, your next level, and to reach it, you have to be willing to go through what most people avoid. Because once you stop making excuses and start trusting your strength, you become unstoppable. Enduring suffering with purpose makes you unbreakable. Pain without purpose feels heavy, it feels like punishment, it feels endless, but when you attach purpose to your suffering, everything changes. You stop asking, why me? And you start asking, what is this making me into? You stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as a vessel, one being shaped, refined, and prepared. Suffering will visit everyone, no one escapes it, but how you carry it, what you do with it, that's what sets you apart. When you suffer with a reason, you tap into strength you didn't know you had. You endure more than you believed you could. You move forward, not because it's easy, but because your reason is bigger than the pain. Purpose turns pain into fuel. It turns tears into wisdom. It turns setbacks into stepping stones. It gives your suffering direction, and that direction gives you power. It doesn't make the pain disappear, but it makes it matter. It gives weight to your fight, meaning to your endurance, and clarity to your struggle. You stop waiting for the storm to end and start learning how to walk through it. You stop looking for escape and start looking for growth. You stop hoping for comfort and start training for impact. Every blow you take, every hardship you overcome, every moment you wanted to quit and didn't, that's where the unbreakable you is built. Not in ease, not in applause, but in silence, in resistance, in persistence, in choosing to keep going when your soul is tired and your heart is heavy. People think strength is loud, but real strength is quiet. It's the quiet decision to rise, to show up again, to keep your promise to yourself, even when no one sees what it's costing you. Enduring suffering with purpose teaches you how to suffer well. It teaches you how to hold pain without letting it define you. It teaches you how to bend without breaking, how to cry without quitting, how to stumble without surrendering. You come out the other side changed, not weaker, but wiser, not bitter, but deeper. You earn something no one can buy, the kind of strength that doesn't shake under pressure. You become a person who can be trusted with weight, trusted with responsibility, trusted with leadership, because you didn't run from the fire, you walked through it and carried something out with you. Purpose gives suffering a destination. It gives you something to hold on to when everything else is slipping. It reminds you that this season is shaping something sacred inside you. So when the pain comes, and it will, don't just endure it blindly. Attach it to something greater, a mission, a vision, a reason to keep going. Because once you learn to suffer for something instead of just suffering through something, you rise above it, you transform it. And in the process, you become unbreakable. So when life presses you, when the weight feels unbearable, and the road seems endless, remember this. You are not just going through pain, you are growing through it. And every moment you endure with purpose is building a version of you that nothing can destroy. Keep going. Not because it's easy, but because what you're becoming is worth every step. You're not breaking. You're becoming.